Hi everyone. I thought it was time to do some more updates on what I've been up to, my news. I guess the biggest thing, well, there's quite a few big things going on for me at the moment. One of the biggest ones is that my book went on sale on Friday. It's now Wednesday, I think, so almost a week ago. That was really exciting to see. Went up for pre-order from Avery Hill Publishing's website, and I had designed some book plates to go with the first 100 orders, and those have now all sold out, so I'm really happy about that. Thanks so much to anyone who's ordered a copy. So I was really happy to see those sell. The other thing that happened to me on Friday was that I finally got the news about my job at the theatre, and that I have definitely been made redundant now, which I'm really sad about. But what was quite nice was that happened at the exact time that my book went on sale and people started ordering the book, and that was kind of a nice distraction for me to kind of keep checking on what was happening with the pre-orders, and seeing people's nice messages and stuff online was a really nice way to offset the bad news about the job. What is quite nice about the whole theatre job situation is that even though a lot of people have lost jobs there now, we've all been staying in touch. We've been kind of checking in with each other and being, supportive of each other, which is really nice. I met up with some of my ex-colleagues now a week or 2 weeks ago maybe, and had a sit down in the park for a few hours one evening on a really hot evening. And even then we were all just kind of swapping. At that point we didn't know who would be being made redundant, but we were just kind of swapping notes and seeing how everyone was. And even then there were just some really nice things. I had to go find a bathroom at one point, and my lovely colleague Marina pretty much took me all the way to this place where I could go to the bathroom, waited for me, and then walked me back. And another colleague I've worked with for years and years, Susan, had walked down from where she lives, and when she left, one of the guys that's worked with us for ages walked her home, which was really, really nice, so that she didn't have to walk alone. So yeah, it's been kind of heartwarming that people have been helping each other out, but it's still a really sad situation. I will miss that job. There's a lot I won't miss about it, but I think we all agreed that we were in it for the people, really, and for each other. So it's nice that we're continuing to stay in touch in spite of everything. There's going to be another meetup at some point next month probably, so I might see them again. So yeah, even though my book is now on sale, we've still been finalising some details with the printing of the book. I had a really stressful situation this morning. Heard from the printer yesterday that there was this one slight thing they needed to check with me, a kind of hitch with the printing of my book that involved me taking a call from them first thing this morning from Malta. We get a lot of our books printed there, and talking to them on the phone, and it was all a bit stressful, but that's all been sorted now and it is in production, which is really exciting. I don't think I've shown this on the vlog. Here is the cover proof that I got from the printer a couple of months ago now. So that's the front and the back cover and the spine. We always get printed proofs just so that we can check how the colours are looking on paper, how the levels, the contrasts between light and darks are looking. So that's always an ongoing nightmare with printing, and it's something you never really get fully used to, is how to set up your files for print so that they print just right. But this cover printed really well, so I'm really happy about that. And I can't wait to see the finished books. Should have them early September. So that'll be really exciting to get hold of a copy and see a finished book for the first time. What other news have I got? We've just come to the end of a crazy heat wave in the UK. It went on and on for quite some time. At one point it reached 37 degrees in my bedroom because I sleep up in the attic of this building, which was kind of insane. So that's kind of broken a little bit. The heat has broken now. We've had some rain. It hasn't really got massively cooler. It has got a little bit cooler, but I'm just really happy for my garden that it's getting some proper rain at the moment. And talking of the garden, we finally got our garden path finished. I've got some footage of that to show you. That was really fun, and it now means that we can walk out there and work in the garden without tramping kind of huge amounts of mud and soil back in through the house, which was a problem we were having. My cosmos flowers that I planted have just started flowering. There are 2 flowers out now, so I'm going to wait for a few more to come out and then take the camera outside and film a little bit in the garden. The other thing I've been growing are cucumbers. I think I showed that in my last episode. I've had some really enormous cucumbers, which has been really quite nice. I'm not a huge fan of cucumbers, but it's been nice to find kind of interesting ways to use them and try different recipes and things. We also overwintered a couple of tomato and chili plants from last year. That hasn't been a huge success. I'll show you now the crop that I've got from those plants. Yeah, that is pretty much it. I mean, this is a very nice chili here, but this is the sum total of all the tomatoes that have come off 2 tomato plants that we tried overwintering. They didn't do brilliantly last year, so it's probably not a good idea to try and let them grow again for a second season, but yeah. As I mentioned, I went to meet up with some of my theatre colleagues, ex-colleagues. That was actually the second social outing that I've been on. I've only done 2 things since March. The first one, I went to meet my friend Rupa to do a little dog walk with her. She takes care of 2 little sausage dogs. And then a week later, I went to meet my theatre colleagues. I don't know, I mean, I'm not a hugely social person at the best of times. I've talked about that before on this vlog. But while it's been really nice seeing my friends that I haven't seen in quite a while, I have also found going out and doing social things quite stressful. There's the whole travelling on public transport. A lot of people that live in London don't drive, so you don't have that security of being able to get into your own car and kind of get somewhere. You have to get on a bus with loads of other people, some of whom wear masks and some of whom don't. Both occasions I found it kind of a little bit stressful afterwards. I enjoyed them in the moment, and then afterwards felt quite anxious and actually felt really ill for almost a full week after doing those 2 outings. I didn't have any of the kind of classic symptoms of corona, but I still felt really unwell for about 5 days or so, and it kind of makes me not want to do too much more travelling out about around London. The other thing that I've been doing a lot of lately as a kind of reward for having worked hard on my book is I've been doing some jigsaws. I think I showed one in the last episode. If I didn't, I'll show it in this one. But a couple of friends of mine and I have become completely addicted to kind of finding nice jigsaws online and ordering them, and then sending each other progress updates on our jigsaws. I'm working on one at the moment, which is a Frida Kahlo painting. So I'll show you that in a second. It's probably the most difficult one that I've done so far because it's got a lot of areas of just the same colour. There's 4 kind of black spider monkeys in the painting, and they're all black. There's not a huge amount of distinguishing features to tell what should go where. But I kind of enjoy jigsaws that are difficult like that because they last a while. So I'll show you that in a second. And here's another jigsaw that I've just finished. This one is a Frank Lloyd Wright design. Just got to get it all back in the box now. Okay, I think this might be the final cucumber of this season, but it's a pretty big one. Wow. So today I'm trying out a recipe that was sent to me by a lovely artist called Claire Scully. She's been published by Avery Hill Publishing, and they're really beautiful kind of landscape illustrations. And when I tweeted about my cucumbers recently, she sent me a recipe that her family make for pickled cucumbers. So I've got cucumber and onion in this bowl. I'm going to add some salt and some crushed ice, let it sit for hours to kind of draw the water out of it, and then kind of bring it to the boil and add a few other flavourings, and we'll see how it turns out. So here are my pickled cucumbers after just about letting them come to the boil, but not quite. See how they taste when they've cooled down a little. These are really, really good. Thank you, Claire. When I was filming pickling some cucumbers in the kitchen earlier, I was kind of waffling on trying to describe the work of Claire Scully, who gave me the recipe, and I suddenly realised I have her books, so I should probably just show them. That would be easier. Here they are. I'll show you in a little bit more detail. This was her first book, Internal Wilderness. This is now out of print, I think. But absolutely gorgeous. If you can see the kind of texture of this paper, it's printed on this lovely textured paper. In fact, it's the same paper that my zine, Cat Zine, is printed on. It's absolutely gorgeous and has a real tactile kind of feel to it. So yeah, she does these kind of landscapes that are really brilliant, and they're all natural landscapes, and there's no people, but the kind of presence of people is just sort of hinted at sometimes, which is really interesting. And this is her second book, which is out now. You can buy this from Avery Hill. And this is the same sort of idea, except it's a completely different type of landscape. It's apparently this is based on a real place in California, I think, called Desolation Wilderness, and it's in a very deserty place. come to the Horniman Gardens today to meet my friend Rupa. This is the first kind of social thing I've done in real life since the lockdown, so it's quite strange. It was my first time on a bus since March. It's now right at the end of July, and it's my first kind of in real life social thing since February, which is the last time I saw Rupa actually. So it's really nice to be out. Of the two of us, Sergio and I, my partner Sergio and I, he's kind of the least sociable. And weirdly, he's done more in real life socializing during lockdown than I have. It's kind of because he bought the e-bike, so he's used that as an opportunity to kind of get some practice in and cycle and go and sit down with some friends in parks. So it's weird to be doing this after so many months of just seeing the people that I live with. Hi guys!
Double trouble. We're at the end now. What do we do? Good boys. There we go. Good boy. So cool. See what's on the other side. Come on.
In my last episode I showed you a little visit to the park that I did to ride my boyfriend's e-bike. That was really the first outing that I'd been on since March that wasn't either to the post office or to buy groceries. Since then I've done one social outing with someone outside my household, which was a lovely dog walk I went on with my friend Rupa. And today is the second social thing that I'm doing, which is I've come into the South Bank of London to meet up with some of my probably soon to be ex-theatre colleagues, just so we can all catch up and discuss kind of what's been happening and stuff. But it's going to be lovely to see people. I'm going to go and try and find them now. I'm making crumpets today. Ideally you need crumpet rings or cookie cutters you can use as well. This really isn't, this is about 1 centimetre deep and it's for frying eggs, so it's not ideal, but I have used it before and it works just about okay, so I'm giving it a go. I haven't made these for probably about 8 to 10 years or something. First couple I did didn't really rise very much, and also they didn't have enough holes in them, so I ended up stirring a little bit more baking powder through the batter, and that seemed to do the trick. And also I realised I think my temperature was a little low, so I raised the temperature and I took a photo of the dial of my hob so that when I cook it again I know what setting to have it at. If you feel like making crumpets for the first time, the only advice I would really say is your first one will probably be very weird. Mine was quite flat and it didn't really have many holes in it, so be prepared for that and don't get discouraged. Just kind of make adjustments to the heat and things and see what works. Yeah, these last couple seem to come out quite well. I've ordered some actual crumpet rings from the internet so that hopefully I can make ones that are a little bit not quite so shallow next time. So my crumpet rings arrived, here they are. I'm really excited to try them out. And I've had this is my batter kind of half made now. It's been proving for an hour. The last recipe I tried only proved for 15 minutes, so I'm interested to see the difference. This is really, really fluffy. This is actually Paul Hollywood's crumpet recipe, and at the moment this is just warm milk, tiny bit of sugar, 2 types of flour, and I think that's it. So I'm going to get the rings warming up on here, and then I need to also add some water and other bits to this. Yeah, so what I add is a little bit of warmish water with some bicarbonate of soda and a little bit of salt. I just need to stir this through. Yeah, this looks a little bit more like batter now. It's got some bubbles coming to the surface, and it's covered in cling film. I'm going to leave it for another 20 minutes before I start to drop it onto the griddle. Here's my first test crumpet. This batter is definitely kind of thicker and more bubbly than the one I was using before. So I'm very interested to see how it turns out. I'm just doing one to kind of test the temperature before I start using all 4 at once. So I got impatient and just filled them all up anyway before seeing how the test one goes. I'm starting to get some nice little holes around the edges, hoping for some more coming up in the middle. Here are the first 4 crumpets to come out. I mean, they're quite nice looking. They don't have quite as many holes as I would like on the top, so that's something to work on. They're definitely thicker than last time, which is nice. So let's just see if I've reduced the temperature a bit. Because these are thicker, I think lower temperature and slower cooking is the best plan. The recipe says that once the top is just starting to firm up a little bit and there are bubbles appearing that look like they might hold their shape, you can actually kind of prick them with the point of a sharp knife, which is very exciting. I'll show you that in a minute. They're still a bit too liquidy at the moment, these ones. Yeah, this batter is definitely way lighter and more airy than the last one. With the last crumpets I had to use quite a high heat to get the bubbles to appear, and they cooked way faster. But I think if I can get more air holes to kind of stay open on the surface, I think these will be great. If you look around the edges, you can definitely see it starting to kind of cook through. Ooh, that one burst before I could get to it. Oh, there's a good one. Yes. This is a lot of fun. Ooh, look at this. The problem with this recipe is it says it's better to cook it slowly. But what I find, if I cook it slowly on a low temperature, I really don't get the bubbles coming up. So, interesting. The last recipe was a much runnier kind of batter, but I did manage to get more air holes. So I'll have to try a third time and see if I can get a kind of balance. And you've just got to wait for the surface to be just solid enough that you can flip them over and do a couple of minutes on the other side as well. I mean, that action in itself helps to break some of the bubbles open, but also if it's too liquidy, then everything kind of collapses a little. Yeah, this batter recipe definitely has loads and loads of lightness and air to it. It's just getting the holes to kind of retain their shape when the air bubbles burst. But I've got a few things to try. I used 50% bread flour and 50% double O. I could increase maybe the bread flour amount to give it a bit more structural kind of strength. And also, this is interesting, this is my last little one here, which I only half filled because I ran out of, that's the last little spoonful of batter. And the holes are doing really well, so maybe I'm overfilling them a bit. Maybe there's no need for them to be quite so tall, because yeah, that's working really well. So next time I'll try a slightly different flour mix and maybe not filling them right to the very brim.